In a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, lives Margaret Collins, a 70-year-old woman whose days pass slower than the ticking of her kitchen clock. Her house, once filled with laughter, now carries the faint echo of memories. The scent of old books, lavender candles, and polished wood fills the air, reminders of the woman she used to be and the life she once had. Every morning, Margaret sits by the window with a cup of lukewarm coffee and watches the same road she has watched for 40 years. A road that once brought her children home. A road where her husband used to return every evening in his blue Chevrolet, smiling, tired but content. But that was decades ago, before time quietly rearranged her world. Margaret was a school teacher, the kind who believed every child could become something extraordinary. She raised 2 children, David and Anne, and built her life around them. Her husband, Robert, was a postal worker, honest and hardworking. Together, they weren't rich, but they were proud of their home, their little garden, and their Sunday dinners filled with laughter. But life, as she often said, doesn't always break loudly. Sometimes it just fades. It started with Robert's passing. A heart attack on an ordinary Wednesday. He was 59. She remembered how she couldn't even cry during the funeral. She was too busy making sure everyone else was fine. The food, the guests, the flowers, the logistics. It wasn't until 3 months later, when she was folding his shirts for donation, that she finally broke down. She kept one, a pale blue shirt with a missing button. It still hangs in her closet.
After Robert's death, her children visited often. At first. But life pulls everyone in different directions. David moved to California for a tech job, promising to visit once things settled. They never did, and her daughter got married and moved to Florida. Calls turned to texts, then to nothing. At 70, Margaret had become the woman everyone says they'll visit, but never do. Still, she never complained. She told herself this was what good mothers do. They let their children live their lives without guilt. But deep down, she missed them with an ache that words could never describe. Then one afternoon, while cleaning the attic, Margaret found a dusty box marked asterisk, old letters. Asterisk inside were dozens of handwritten notes, most unopened, old Christmas cards, Robert's letters from the 80s, and one envelope addressed in her own handwriting. It was sealed. It read, asterisk to my children, when you're ready to listen. Asterisk. Her hands trembled as she sat on the attic floor, surrounded by decades of silence. She didn't remember writing it, but the handwriting was unmistakably hers. She broke the seal. Inside was a 4-page letter, written in fading blue ink. It began, "If you're reading this, it means I've finally accepted that I can't keep pretending everything's fine. I spent my life trying to give you both the best I could, but I realize now I forgot to live for myself. I forgot who I was when I wasn't someone's mother or wife." The letter was raw, not angry, not bitter, just honest. She spoke about her fears, her loneliness, and how after Robert's death, she didn't know how to exist without someone needing her. She wrote about nights she stayed up, watching the clock, waiting for calls that never came, and how she blamed herself for raising children who loved her but didn't really see her. Reading it after all these years was like looking into a mirror she had avoided for decades. That night, Margaret sat by her window again. The same road, the same silence.
Only this time, something changed. She realized that she'd been waiting not for her children, but for permission to stop waiting. So she did something she hadn't done in years. She picked up her phone and dialed Anne's number. It rang. No answer. She tried David. Straight to voicemail. She didn't cry this time. Instead, she went to her writing desk, opened a fresh notebook, and began again. "Dear David and Anne, this isn't a letter of guilt. It's one of forgiveness, for you and for me. Life was never supposed to be perfect, but I don't want to leave this world waiting for an apology that might never come." The next morning, she mailed 2 letters, one to Florida, one to California. No expectations, just peace. 2 weeks later, a car pulled in her driveway and stepped out, tears in her eyes. She said she'd read the letter in her kitchen and cried for hours. that she never realized how much her mother had carried silently. They hugged for a long time, the kind of hug that feels like forgiveness. A week later, David called too. His voice cracked. He said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I thought you were fine. You always sounded fine." Margaret laughed softly. "That's what mothers do, honey. We sound fine, so you can be fine." From that day, her life didn't magically change. There were still lonely mornings and quiet evenings. But now, there were calls, visits, shared memories, and small joys. Margaret started volunteering at the local library, helping seniors write their own stories of love, loss, and everything in between. In her journal, she wrote one last line before closing it forever. "Sometimes love doesn't die. It just waits for courage, for words, for the right kind of silence to end." And that's how Margaret found peace, not in the return of her children, but in forgiving herself for believing she wasn't enough. If you liked the video, please subscribe. See you soon.